Today we start talking about conflict in fiction. This is the third element of fiction that we've studied so far. We've looked at theme, we've looked at characterization, and now we're looking at conflict. And every story has to have a conflict. If you don't have a conflict, you don't have a story. For instance, if I told you yesterday I went to Giant on my way home, that's not much of a story, right? But if I tell you, when I stopped into Giant on my way home yesterday, I went to pick up 5 oranges, and as I pulled them off the heap, that big triangle, all the oranges fell on the floor. So now you have a story. Now you want to know more. You want to know, did I pick up the oranges? Did I have to pay for the oranges? Did I just run away? Did someone come and help me? It's a story. Without a conflict, you don't have a story. Okay, so let's talk about conflict. There are some things you need to know. First of all, what is conflict? Conflict is the problem in a story. It's a struggle between 2 opposing forces, that protagonist and that antagonist. We've talked about those words. What does a conflict do? It makes the story interesting. It not only makes it interesting, it makes the story. Okay, so remember that. If you don't have a conflict, you don't have a story. We have 2 kinds of conflicts that you need to know. Internal conflict, external conflict. And you can see I have the prefix in and ex. In means inside. So one type of conflict is inside. It's within the character's mind. It's a tough decision that they have to make. And the other are external conflicts. And those are conflicts that you could actually see. A conflict with someone or a group, or it can involve one person or a lot of people, but it's an external one that you could actually see. So in 7th grade, you are responsible to know 7 different types of conflict. Zoom out here a little bit. So I'm going to go through them pretty quick, and then I'm going to have you do a practice to see if you're understanding. I'm also going to have you, as you go, fill in examples. If you can think of one now, fill it in. If not, after the activity you're going to do next, I want you to come back and use those examples. So the first one is individual versus self. And notice that is the only internal conflict. This is external, this is external, this is external, this is external, and this is external. Internal. This is a really common type of problem in a story. It's when a character is in conflict with him or herself, like if a character has to make a tough decision. So for instance, and I'll put an example down here. In the story Kim, there go my lights. Kim was afraid that her father's spirit didn't know her. Okay, if you were a character in that house, or if you walked by Kim in that story, you would know that Kim has a problem. The entire problem is inside her head. She's worried, she sees the altar, she knows her parents were crying, but none of that happened during the story. The actual conflict is in her head. So that's what individual versus self is. It's her problem. Very common type of conflict. So there's an example. If you read Kim, if you read another story, then you don't understand that, and you can put your own example. So the next one is individual versus individual. This is another very common conflict when a character is in conflict with another person. A verbal argument, a physical fight, something like that. But it could also be a group. As long as the 2 forces are even, like it could be one team against another team. A football game, for instance, is an individual versus individual conflict. Both sides are even, okay? Can you think of an example of a movie or TV show that you know, or book that you know has an individual versus individual conflict? So you can stop this video and see if you can fill it in. A third type of conflict is individual versus nature. This is when a character is in conflict with a force of nature. Tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, thunderstorms, hail, tsunamis. Anything where your protagonist is struggling with a natural force. Can you think of an example like that? Stop the video and see if you can just write the title and maybe write a quick sentence about the conflict in case I don't know the book or the movie or the TV show. All right, our fourth conflict is individual versus society. And says a character or group of characters is in conflict with society or the way things are. rules and laws. Now, society can be, one person against the government. It could be, a big group against a small group. This is the little guy. Your society could be your group of friends. So it could be you against your friends. All your friends want to go to the movies and you want to go bowling. That's individual versus society, the big group against the little group. Sometimes it's real society. You see lots of movies where the main character, that protagonist, is fighting against the wrongs of the government. So think about a book or a TV show or a movie that you know that has that. If you can't think of one now, you'll have one in a little while to come back and put in here. I want to make sure you have an example because this is something that you will be tested on later, okay? Stop the video, see if you can put something in. Our fifth conflict is individual versus supernatural. We got this picture of the ghost. A character is in conflict with a spirit or a ghost. We've all seen stories like that where the character is something supernatural, a ghost or a spirit or a zombie, okay? See if you can come up with an example of that. And then our last one is individual versus technology. A character is in conflict with technology, a computer, a cell phone, a robot, a machine. And see if you can think of a book, a TV show, or a movie that has that conflict in it. So that's all there is to conflict. I want you to make sure you understand internal versus external, and you need to know the 6 different conflicts and what they are, and I want you to have an example. So now that we've looked this over, I want you to go and do the video practice for conflict. I'm going to show you 6 video clips, and you're going to decide which conflict each one is and give me a reason why. Okay? Good luck with conflict.